The S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100, that's what we're covering here on the day. Now, when we look at the action, there's only room to be happy, right? So the first thing I want to say is a little bit of action that happened yesterday and kind of how we moved into today. We talked heavily about the weakest sector in the market, most likely being semiconductors or banks. And that's the area that you wanted to trade. Also, of course, we had that nice little gap down pushing in here. We'll talk about the S&P and Qs here in a second. Still, all the focus is going to be on NVIDIA and AVGO semiconductors specifically. I want to make that really clear because I think that's just like the best opportunity across the board. Understand that, know that. Hopefully you're listening. Don't know what else to say. Okay, so we go into NVIDIA. You're inching down, going towards our target at 402, 400. I do believe we're going to probably get that test by tomorrow. Very shocking we didn't get that today. I want to give a special shout out though. Everyone out there. Hey, let's get some snaps. Get some snaps. Right, snaps in the chat, right? When we look at this action, AVGO, we've been calling this bad boy out for a hot minute. We said you break 840, you're going to get absolutely decimated, destroyed. And nothing less than the best came from this. I'm on one, right? You drop from 830 all the way down, open up at lows of around 795. You bounce back into 820 off some news around Google, and you push back down. This was also that level, like to get that retest, and you had it. So you had another entry opportunity, again, mentioned here on the channel as well. So AVGO, this thing's going to start getting ugly. But I just want to highlight, this is just the beginning. Like if we're actually getting real downside continuation of follow through to the downside, I don't know if y'all can hear my interactive brokers is going in and out, but whatever. I just want this to be highlighted. You start to get below like 775, 780 here on AVGO, it's over. You're going straight down to 700, right? NVIDIA, you start really getting below 400, you're going to start working your way towards 375, 380. But after that, again, it's over. You're pretty illiquid, right? So a lot of these people, if you look over the past few months, have been trying to actively short NVIDIA, AVGO, semiconductors as a whole without really having a real reason. I think that's a dangerous mentality to have, is just having a bias. But once you start seeing lower lows being put in, once you start seeing indexes selling off and real fundamental reasons to actually see selling in the market, that's your time to make money. So again, I wanted to give you the stocks I loved this morning or this afternoon early, right? Okay, again, let's go into S&P. No, we look at the SPY. What are we looking at? Now, I gave you guys a rundown, but I don't know if I posted too much of this on Twitter today. But yeah, so a few levels that we are watching. You had your lows here from August 18th. That was the initial target, but pretty quickly I realized you were coming down to the next level, which is around 431. Now, I gave an update inside of Discord about this, and I've been doing a better job at breaking down action throughout the day. So going into earlier today, we were talking very early this morning, what were we looking at? We wanted to see June 26th lows, August lows first. So August lows, then June 26th, right? Very simple to see while we were up here at 434. Obviously, we progress through the day, continue to drop. I'm just looking here at the daily chart. Nothing else really matters, right? But that's how you're moving. Great action. Very predictable behavior. We're seeing buyers try to step in, but it's very weak. Same here on Qs. I want to see Qs. They have more room. Qs have not started to drop. Tech has not really given up yet. Tech is, for the most part, is holding up very well. That's one thing we need to be considering. Even despite semiconductors showing a lot of weakness, these tech names are showing resilience. Once they start to give in, which they most likely will, you're going to see this start to roll over. I'll go over some of those names as well. But first target you're expecting, you're looking for is 354 here on specifically Qs. Now, if you go back to the same level on SPY, there's a little bit of a disconnect. Your Q lows are right there, 357, which is ultimately where you're ending the day today. You're probably going to need to break below this, and you're probably going to get a push into 354. Below 354, you're looking towards roughly like 348, 349. It could get ugly there. But you do want to see, and I have a major concern here, is are we going to base at 431? We need to see a confirmation before we start entering anything else. You have got to see this, guys. Understand. Use the 15-minute, 30-minute. I don't really care. You can use smaller time frames. You need to see a break, retest, and then continuation. That's what you want to see, right? Don't just go blindly into the short, right? Make sure you get the break, retest, then push, right? You might miss an opportunity. It is what it is. But again, if you're not already in a position, that's what you're looking for to happen here. Now, before I go into anything else, I'd ask you to consider doing two things: liking and subscribing. It helps out tons. I appreciate all the love and support every single day I post videos for you, so you are prepared here in the market. Good, bad, the ugly. I share my unbiased opinion every single day. The Discord link is also down below if you are interested. These prices will be raising, and we will be officially capping basic access very soon as well. So those spots will definitely be limited, full access as well. So make sure you take advantage of that while you can. Let's get back to it. So again here, the major question is, are these names going to start giving out? Few names, for example, and I would like to do this so it gives you a good example of like where we're at. We saw Microsoft trying to mount, 330 a few days ago. It broke down, you're pushing down, but it's just not getting the volatility. Like this, I mean, you got some good movement here like the 20th, but today just not as good selling, right? Just not as good. A lot of chop, a lot of sideways action, right? We go into Apple, right? Held up really well, but it's at that breaking point. It's right there. It's right at that breaking point. You start to lose 174, it's a pretty easy short down to 171, right? Opportunity is definitely picking up. Meta, I've been waiting to go short on this, but you kind of had a great opportunity today. I was just so focused on semiconductors that I just didn't even bother with anything else. 298, you got above it for a little bit, came back below, and then you started rejecting right off of it, 1 and then almost 2 there. Perfect. So what you're looking for here for continuation is you're looking for a break below the lows from today, 293. I still think below VWAP and grinding below the 90 MA, you're looking for this to get down to 290. 289 roughly. Looks really good. One of the bread and butter names that has been performing. It's also worth mentioning that you clearly broke the structure that you were just moving to the upside, and you're kind of just making a lower high. Not ideal, not the best behavior there either. Netflix. We go into Netflix. Very weak name here, right? You see the rejection underneath 400 perfectly. You see the rejection here at 390. It was also in the newsletter. If you're not on the newsletter, go check it out if you don't believe us. I think you should go look for yourself. A perfect rejection off the key level of 396 as well. Pushing back down, most likely going to hit 376 also. So you're starting to see across the board weakness. And I know you guys are wanting me to cover Tesla, so let me do that really quick as well. Tesla, as you can see, trying to push back down the 259 key level. I don't know why that's there like that. It's so ugly. Don't know what's going on there. You push back in 259, rejected, came back down. Really nice. You're probably going to break down. You're probably looking for like 247, 248, roughly, maybe 252 on the short as a little scalp target, but right there. Okay, now what I want to do now is go over some of the big things that I believe are the biggest impacts on the market. So today, a lot of people were commenting around the DXY and what was happening here. So the DXY, let's go over everything just as quickly as possible. The DXY, our target was around 106 flat, but as you see, we get about 20 cents away from there. It's around 10, 12 cents from hitting there, right? Almost hits there, gets rejected, pushes down, right? You're coming in the air to target, right? The target range, right? So what I'm looking for here, when we hit, again, I say all the time, when you hit a target, you expect sellers to step in and push you down, right? Just like we saw back here. You hit a target, you came back down, 200 SMA, you bounced up. Good behavior. So just because we're moving like this, I'm going to explain why I believe so. I still think you're going to continue going up here on the dollar. Still looks very, very strong. Go a little bit deeper. Okay, this is where things start to spark up. VIX also too, shooting up. You're finally getting a big indication that sellers are actually doing something here, but we need to see some continuation, preferably above 20, 22 to get some confirmation. Above 24 is pure confirmation, just to let you know. Okay, the 2-year. Now this was the part where I think people were getting confused today. As we look at the 2-year yield, right? Not really a good day, like kind of flat, choppy back and forth. The 5-year upside into green, but yeah, so that's where you're at. You into kind of green up here. So decent day, still breaking up higher. But then we get to the 10-year, monster day. The 30-year, a monster day. The inversion kind of pulled back, but the inversion, because it pulled back, does not mean you're looking better. You're kind of looking worse. So you see the 30-year, really nice day, breaking out. I covered all these levels as well, right, in yesterday's video, showing the significance here. The 30-year, you have room up at least into 4.8. The 10-year, you have room at least, honestly, you have more room here into like 5.2. 5-year, again, a lot of room into like 5.2. The 2-year, a lot of room back into, actually, if you get this breakout above 5.2, you're going to start pushing most likely. That's a lot. That's a lot of room. So definitely a cause for concern. Other areas of the market that are showing a lot of weakness as well. The real estate market, 7 weeks now, 7 or 6 weeks above 7% on the average interest rate for mortgage, right? That's not good either. So we're starting to see the whole market really shaking up. And people, again, are going to be like, well, Tyler, we've been saying downside, downside, downside. Look, I'm going to tell you something right now, right? Going to give you a little piece of advice. It's like I said, though, okay, really quick. And hopefully, and I've been seeing you guys' comments, and I love seeing you guys' comments. I love seeing what you guys are saying. Also, look, you can see this level. It goes all the way back to this 431, just to give you a visual. I haven't even taken a look that far back, but that's where you are right now. So you can see you break below this, it's going to be gross tomorrow. Okay, just to let you know, everyone was saying short, 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 but the same people that were saying short, short, short were saying it here. They were saying it here. They were saying it here. They were saying it here, right? Then they were saying it here, and then you popped up, and they're like, oh my God, right? The point in case has been this, and I've been saying this for months. You don't need to be the first one to get in short, right? Typically, the first person in gets burned. Typically. That's why you've seen us to be able to maintain, have steady growth, have good growth, and most of all, catch the big moves. When we get confirmation and key breakdowns, or we get Powell giving us the news that we need to hear, or something along those lines for an actual continuation and trend. This choppy behavior, I saw the comments. I saw people losing money. I saw people even in my Discord that just chose to overtrade, right? I can't tell you what to trade or to not trade. You're a grown man. You're a grown woman. It doesn't matter. You're going to make your own decisions. But at the end of the day, all I can do is try to instill in you tips and things that have helped me over the years. And so when I say this, I say it with a mentality to hopefully help you guys and to give you a little bit of something that can hopefully make you money down the line, is be patient. Just like this. We had good movement today. I have some shorts, but again, once you get below 431, that's when things start to spark up and get really interesting. We get confirmation and we start to push back down, because you have a long way back down, ultimately into 417, as like target number of 420, 418 roughly. So that's what you're looking at there. I can only say this so many times. I'm not going to make an extremely long video. That's ultimately what I'm looking at on the day. Hopefully this answered questions, gave you an insight to how I'm trading, what I'm looking at. There's no overcomplication here. It's watching levels, which again on the newsletter, and then trading based on those and finding the areas in the market that give us the best opportunity to win. Day in, day out, it's the same story, the same strategy over and over and over. It's repetition, repetition, repetition until we get it right. Hope you guys are succeeding. Hope you guys are profiting. I'll see you guys tomorrow.